David Morris is a professional whistling artist who performs as a soloist with an orchestra, concert, and brass band, and has won the title of Grand Master World Whistling Champion at the global event in the USA. And he's on the line with us here just now. How are you today?
Hi there, Tony. Good, good. Yeah, good. Nice to see you on the Zoom.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So, when did you first realise that you had a talent for whistling?
Yeah, it's a question I get asked quite a lot. That
Mm.
I used to be a cornet player in the local brass band here in the north of England. I live in an area called Saddleworth, which is unfortunately famous for the wrong reason. That's the Saddleworth Moors murders, but
Oh.
but it is a lovely area, and it comprises of, I think it's 11 little villages what make up the district of Saddleworth. It's in the Pennines, and it's near it's in between Oldham and Huddersfield.
Yeah.
I started playing in the local village brass band as a cornet player when I was 12, and that's when I started to try and whistle the. When I became a better cornet player, of course, I tried to whistle the difficult cornet polkas, etc. I was playing at that time. And
Oh.
after a while, I thought I've got a bit of a flair for this, and carried on practicing and got better and better, and that's how it started in my teens. Yeah.
Mm. And what makes your whistling on the professional level, as opposed to the everyday person that can maybe whistle a few things while they work?
Yeah, well, I mean, I went to the, I was almost bullied into going to the World Championship of Whistling in America. I mean, it could only be an event like that could only be in America, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And it was in North Carolina. And I went over to there, and I won it, so I became world champion whistler. And that was a life changer, absolute life changer, because the British media picked up on it big style when I came back
Right.
home, and I was on all sorts of TV and radio shows, interviews. I was on Chris Evans' Radio 2 show and
Yeah.
as a guest. And I was on the Des O'Connor show on television, and This Morning with Philip Schofield and Blue Peter and things like that.
Mm.
And of course, with all that exposure, the bookings started to come in nicely
Oh
on
yeah.
the website, to appear in concerts and things like that. And an agent in London saw me on BBC The One Show. I was on The One Show. An agent in London saw me, and he liked what he saw and heard, and he got in touch with me, and they've pitched for certain TV adverts.
Yeah.
We've been successful with my whistling off my five album tracks, five albums, and I did quite a few TV ads. So that's what makes the difference, really. First of all, in answer to your question, first of all,
Mm.
you've got to win something big like the World Whistling Championship, which puts you in a, not wanting to appear big-headed, but it puts you in a different league to the average whistler.
Mm.
And then of course get with a good agent, and they put you out there and get your work in TV ads. I've been in the genre of TV ads and film music for the last 5 or 6 or 7 years, with a lot of success actually. I did the whistling for a very well-known TV ad for TSB Bank,
Yeah.
which lasted 6 years, I think. There were 12 different adverts, and they kept the same music, of course. And that's the one that went. That was that one.
Mm.
That's the way it ended. The famous ad, very popular ad. That was me doing that.
Mm.
And then I did an ad for a BMW minicar,
Yeah.
which went all around the world. And for that track, they used my version of the Post Horn Gallop. The Post Horn Gallop being the hunting tune. That's that one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did some whistling for Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's been great. The last few years have been fantastic in the whistling world.
Yeah. And for the TSB advert, am I right in saying that not only did you do the whistling on it, but you actually made all the sounds in the background as well with your mouth?
No, not quite correct. Actually,
Mm.
the composer of that tune was a lady called Anne Dudley, who is a brilliant musician. She got an Oscar for the music in the film The Full Monty, and then she did all the scoring for that. She did all the orchestration and scoring for the movie version of Les Miserables. I mean, she's a big hitter, top class
Yeah.
musician, Anne Dudley, and she got the brief to write the music for the TSB campaign. I think it was back in 2014. It was now,
Yeah.
and so she wrote this music. And she tried it on a trumpet player first, then she tried it on a flautist, and then she got me down to her studio, and she went for my version. So,
Yeah.
but in answer to your question, no, her husband did all the backing effects because they've got their own studio where they live. So I did the whistling, and I was booked for a 3-hour session. And I did it in 35 minutes.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. And do you get repeat fees as well every time it was aired?
To a certain extent, yeah. To a certain extent, yeah, based on how many different ads there were, and there were 12. So
wow.
Very nice. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And in terms of the World Whistling Championships as well, what are people actually looking for when they're judging whistling?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's two categories. There's a classical music category and a non-classical, which is virtually anything else really, apart from classical. When you enter, you tell them which pieces you're going to be performing. You take your own backing tracks on a disc. And then you perform in each category. So, in the classical section, I did in the first round, because it's 2 rounds.
Yeah,
it's held over a weekend in a big theatre in North Carolina. And TV cameras are there to do highlights, and it's a big event. And in the first round, in the classical section, I did the last movement of Haydn's Trumpet Concerto. A little bit goes like this. Something like that. But obviously with backing, And then in the final, I got through to the Grand Whistle-Off. They call it the Grand Whistle-Off final. I think there were 9 whistlers they selected from a first round of about 70.
Wow.
And that was the following day on the Sunday, the Grand Whistle-Off final, which I did well. I won it. And I did a very famous violin solo called Shardas by Vittorio Monti. Something like that, and that was good. And then in the non-classical, I did London Derriere, Danny Boy. Well done tune.
Yeah.
So I did that one. So that was it. Yeah.
And how many people actually enter these contests? Is it quite popular?
Yeah, I think there were about certainly between 60 and 70 in the first round, and I think they picked 9 out, 8 or 9 for the final, and yeah. So the look at I didn't answer your original question. The judges are looking for obviously overall special technique, tonal quality, range. I also did it in the first round. I did it. Sorry, I'm getting confused now. I think it was in the final in the non-classical section. I did a polka which I used to play on the cornet called trumpet triplets, which involves a technique which brass players use called triple tonguing, so triplet semiquavers.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's quite impressive. Do you have to do any sort of vocal warm-ups before whistling at all?
Not vocal, but well, whistling warm-ups, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I just do scales and arpeggios, and go up and down the scale and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And just get me warmed up.
Yeah. And if you have a cold or a bad throat or whatever, does that affect your whistling ability, or is it still kind of the same?
Yeah, you don't really want a bad cold or something like that. The worst thing you can have is a cold sore on your lip.
Yeah.
That's a real no-goer. But touch wood, I'm just touching the table here. Touch wood, I've not really had many problems like that. But another thing which you have to ask me, but I'll just get it in anyway. I've been all over the world with this, since I turned professional. Been back to America 15 times in concerts as a guest soloist in America, and I've done 2 tours of New Zealand in concerts. I've done a week in Spain, a week in Malta. I've been all over the place. Yeah. Gets you around. Practice your whistling. Gets you around the world.
Yeah. And what made you want to be a professional whistler as opposed to many other jobs you could do with whistling, like a builder or a train guard?
Well, first of all, I can't knock a nail in, so the builder was out. I've never fancied being a train guard. No. When I won the world, sorry, excuse me, got flag in my throat. When I won the world whistling championship, it was a career changer, obviously. I used to be a sales manager, and then when the bookings started coming in when I came back from the States, I thought I'm going to go for this. Yeah. It's a gamble, massive gamble, but I've never looked back. Touch wood, and so I knew that was my destiny then when I turned pro.
Yeah. And do you have maybe any whistling inspirations? Like, are there any other famous whistlers that you sort of look up to?
Well, there was a guy, two guys, going back to the 1950s, I think, early 1960s. There was a guy called Ronnie Ronald, who was a very big music hall star, because music hall was, variety shows and things like that in music halls were very big, but they're not so much nowadays. But he was a big star. He used his fingers. He was a finger whistler, and he did things like bird calls and all things like that, and tunes. But he was a big star. And then another guy in more recent times, a guy called Roger Whittaker.
Oh yeah,
who was a very good singer, and he used to include some whistling into some of his songs, and he was a very good whistler. So those are the 2 most famous ones, I think.
Yeah. And do you ever get teased about being a whistler a little bit?
Oh yeah, of course you do. Yeah. Yeah, but it's me that lasts all the way to the bank, not them.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Yeah. And do your lips ever get tired, maybe, if you're whistling for ages?
I've not really had that problem. No, I always keep them moist. Keep them moist by licking your lips with the tongue and that. And no, I can go on for quite a long time. I mean, mostly my performances in a concert will be if there's other artists on, which there usually are, like a variety, like a promenade. The concert from the summer proms in the park and things like that.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I did in America. Big crowds. There'd be singers on, there'd be orchestra. I'd do a couple of 15-minute spots, 15 minutes in each half, about 3 pieces in each half. So that's no problem. But if I do an after dinner performance where I take all my own sound equipment, PA system and amp and speakers and all that, and backing tracks, I'll do probably about 45 minutes, which is it's no problem.
Yeah. Sure. And have you got anything coming up that you're able to talk about in terms of future work?
Well, yeah. I mean, future work is thankfully beginning to come through again.
Yeah.
I mean, for obvious reasons, I've not done much for the last 18 months because nobody has in the entertainment music business. But since things are the restrictions are calming down now. Some bookings are coming through for live appearances. I went down to Cardiff, South Wales, a few weeks ago to record a new soundtrack for a BBC Wales TV programme. So that was quite good. And then I'm doing other work. I've recently got in with an organisation called U3A, which stands for University of the Third Age. I don't know whether you've heard about it or not. It's a big organisation, but it's not a university. It means retired people, people in the third age. They're retired, and it's like a monthly meeting, recreational, and they have guest speakers, educational, things like that. And most towns have a U3A. I'm sure there'll be one near where you live for U3A. Yeah. And I've been doing quite a lot of work with those pre-pandemic. And I'm glad to say there's some more bookings coming through now for the next few months. So and I've just landed a new TV ad. The agent tells me, but you won't see it in this. You won't see it in the UK. It's in Denmark.
Oh right.
So,
okay.
So it's for some product in Denmark. So they're using my Western for that. So that's it's looking good.
Yeah. Well, where are we able to keep up to date with you? And also, I know you've done a few CDs, so where can we buy them as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks. My website is davidmorris-whistler.com, and I've got 5 CD albums, and you can go on the website and play little samples from the tracks off each album, and you can buy them via PayPal, and all that. Yeah. You can play the TV adverts and have a good bit of fun on the website, davidmorris-whistler.com.
Great. Well, thanks very much for coming on the show today. It's been great to chat to you.
Pleasure. All the very best.